the donkeys and the cross that they have on the back. You can Google it out. When you look at the pictures of the donkeys from the top, they have a cross on the back. And Jesus was insisting that when he goes to Jerusalem, he needs to ride the donkey. Right. Nobody knew what's going to happen. Nobody knew that he's getting crucified. Only he knew. And the Creator literally makes like the ultimate flex. Okay, you're going to be riding on the animal that already carries the cross on the back. You can't make this up.
Do you remember when you asked me if I wanted you to pray for me?
Yeah.
And I was like,
no. And the resistance tells something. Like, if you are so sure that he is not there, why are you scared to be prayed about? Why are you scared to speak to him?
True.
Your heart tells you that it is real. And because you are not going to get so defensive and so disappointed about anything else. They give you drugs? Yeah, why not? YOLO. You go to party, you go drinking, but when it comes to Jesus, nah, I'm good. Hello. This is a Living Room Gospel. It's a faith-based podcast. My name is Philip, and we're going to be talking about God, faith, Christianity, life as it is, as we normally do, as two friends, normal guys, humble sinners. So just relax, join the conversation, and enjoy our thoughts processes.
Exactly. And my name is Daniel. I'm here. Thank you, by the way. Thank you for having me in your living room once again. And yeah, I'm here to talk about Christianity with my good friend Philip. Not only Christianity, because this isn't going to be only about it. It's going to be focused on Christianity, but it's not going to be only Jesus is King and Jesus is Lord, and that's it, I guess. We also have you probably can't see it, but we have the cat from Philip. He also likes to participate on these conversations.
He's also Christian. No.
He's also Christian.
Not baptized yet. They're afraid of water.
He's also Christian. So he's going to be accompanying us for the while. And yeah.
And it's an honor to have you here. Thank you for joining.
I appreciate that, man. I appreciate it.
So how are we going to start it off?
That's a very good question. Actually, I had something that I really wanted to talk to you. And that's regarding one of the things that you said to me on one of these first conversations about Christianity, and it's regarding the dating. How do we see dating nowadays on our society? And I remember that you made you gave an excellent explanation about what was kind of the view of dating on the Bible. So you basically got me to understand that dating isn't just something that we do out of sport, you know. We shouldn't be looking at other people in a very futile, superficial way in order to date. You made me realize that there's something more into the dating scene, and that's the fact that eventually, in normal circumstances, the dating ends up in involving some children. And I think that's something that not everyone has in mind, because obviously nowadays dating isn't meant to be like that. What do you think about it?
By God's design, marriage, it's a holy covenant. And I believe in scriptures it says that you should be wise about choosing your spouse, and you cannot have sex before marriage. The reason for that, it's not because he's trying to remove the pleasure out of your life. I mean, he made you the way, your body, your biological machine, for some reason, including your part. Mm-hmm. And it's perfectly all right to have sex with your spouse in the marriage. But we have to keep in mind what it does to your body and what it does to your brain. The moment when you connect with someone, when you know them, it creates a different biology and different chemistry in your brain. And you can confuse the lust with love, which I think happened also in my life. So I can say, okay, I'm understanding better what that means. So if you would go for dating, as you said it, as a sport nowadays, that you will be doing all these things that you should be doing only in the benefit of marriage, in front of God, that perverts pretty much everything. And I believe it's devil's work to flip it the other way around.
God's creation.
Yeah. And you called it a sport. And recently we had a conversation about the series How I Met Your Mother. But the main character, Barney, he is doing, how is it called? He's
The playbook.
picking artist or pickup artist?
Yeah. He's basically writing like a playbook where you have different ways to get women. Yeah.
And looking at it, it's something that has massive influence over the society and over the viewers because it's a very, very popular series, and it's encoding in people's brain that this is a normal thing.
Yeah.
You just see women as a sexual object.
Yeah.
And you lustfully go and change them as a sockets every day. Once it gets dirty, you move to the other. So how can you possibly then enjoy the fullest potential of having a sexual relation with your spouse once you developed the proper relationship and proper connection through time and patience and love, if you always take the story from the other way around? I think it's destructive, and that's one thing that we should be nowadays aware of. Because once you enter a relationship through the sexual connections, it's gonna start to fall apart in the long run if the person it's not correct for you. So the Bible and God doesn't try to tell us that you shouldn't have sex. Enjoy as much as you can, but once you did all the necessary preparation that is in there, you get to know your spouse. You see if you can understand each other, if you have and share the same values, and then you can develop further. And I believe this can pretty much apply for everything, because what I learned in my life, it's the harder way. It's usually the correct way.
Yeah.
Yeah,
because it gives you more time to prepare yourself. It gives you more time to analyze the situation, get to know the other person, and actually understand how the things would work in the future. Right? It gives you time to understand if the person has red flags. What are the red flags? What are the green flags as well? Because that's something that not so many people talk about. But I guess that you should also acknowledge the good parts of the other person. You should also have that in mind. And it definitely makes you consider how important it is. I feel that nowadays dating is as I said, it's made into too much of a superficial thing. So basically, two people get to know each other. Usually, they'll always look at the appearance. If the other person is hot, sexy, whatever you want to call it, that's already like, okay, I want to have something with this person. But you're not thinking in the long term, you know? You're basically staying on the lustful level. You're only thinking about this person is going to give me some kind of pleasure. Which in turn, yeah, sure, you can enjoy it, you can have something with it, but you're not thinking about what's going to happen after. Sometimes people say, yeah, but you have to have conversations before, right? You gotta establish what's going to be the next step. Are we only going to stay on the lustful level? Are we going to try to develop this into a formal relationship? You know, but I feel that nowadays our society views it as too much of I don't really want to think about the future. I just want to enjoy the moment, you know, like YOLO, live the moment, and that's it. Well, for me that's a dangerous take. That's a very dangerous take, because after a while, after spending some time with that person, after enjoying yourselves in a lustful way, a lot of things might happen. Not only in terms of feelings. One of the person might be developing feelings for the other one while the other one doesn't. But also you have the situation of the babies coming into a relationship that isn't even a relationship. Now you're basically you're preparing the perfect stage for a broken home. And I guess that I'm not sure. I haven't seen the statistics, but I guess that this is something that hasn't happened like in history as much. You can see a lot of people who are growing up in broken homes. One mom, one dad, completely separated family. And this is something that will give you a hard time for the kid. At least I feel.
It's a nice take. Yeah, one thing, it's what it's going to do to you. I don't know how it is for other men, but in the Bible it says that it basically spiritually entangles your souls. And I feel it. That's the confusion of lust versus love. That one act can develop strong feelings for that person, and it's pulling you towards them that shouldn't be there. And once you are done with the act, you suddenly realize that, okay, you are lying next to each other in the bed, and you can just do your own thing because there is nothing that you can speak about. But it still pulls you to that person, so it's definitely wrong. But it's only for yourself. If we look outside for the bigger picture, sex doesn't involve two people, it involves three people. It's you, your spouse, and the potential kid. Yes, of course, there is anti-conception and prevention, but again, now you are perverting something that is a sanctified act to create another human being. You literally have godlike powers. Without any knowledge and about chemistry and biology, you can create this complex machine just with your creative power and with the help of your spouse. So that's something that you should respect. But I believe he also says it because of the security. You can harm another person and you can harm another baby, just like you said. Once you bring the child into the relationship, which is not fully established on the good foundation, exactly, you bring them to the broken home. And we know that not everyone is as responsible to make sure that they use the prevention, and the prevention can always fail. So imagine when you do this, the child suddenly is growing up in the condition where it doesn't have the environment it should have to be able to understand love and how relationship works, what is the family dynamic. And statistically, these people, if it is boys or girls, they usually end up in prison, in troubles, addicted to substances, or in adult industry. It's not a rule, but it can happen. So you are giving them harder life right from the start.
Basically starting with a disadvantage. You're starting life with kind of a disadvantage.
Not like a head start, but a back start. And it's all because I wanted to feel good.
Yeah.
And Bible tells us that's the doing of the devil. It's follow your heart, right? How you feel, what you should do. But Bible tells us it's your heart. It's deceitful above all, and you shouldn't trust it. You shouldn't trust your thoughts. You should trust the word of God and follow it. And this is exactly where God tries to lead you. And not only you can harm the little child, which hasn't been born or created yet, but you can harm yourself.
Yeah.
There are diseases that can be spread if you are not careful, or even if you are careful, it doesn't have to be only with your part. It can transfer through the skin.
There's already some kind of diseases where just by the pure sweat you're already transmitting the disease. So it's not only the sex itself, it's already the touch. So you got to be careful even with that.
Yeah, and interestingly enough, Bible tells us that you don't even have to do the act. Already anything, even foreplay, counts as lust already, because you are already developing some kind of emotions. There are hormones.
Yeah, we're opening a portal for something to happen.
Mm-hmm.
This is an interesting take, because so let's put it in our perspective. Now that we're Christians, one of the things that, like you said, the Bible says, sex only after marriage. How do you think, or how hard do you think that this could happen in our society? Like, do you think that people are too lustful to do that, or do you think that we can still manage and we can actually overcome that?
I can only speak for myself, and I am a lustful person. I struggled with lust pretty much my whole life.
I'm pretty sure 90% of people are lustful.
Especially when it's men audience.
Yeah.
And it's easier to struggle with lust than ever, because in past you would have to have another person. Today you can just go on internet. So that's
just 4 letters and that's it.
Yeah. .com. Yeah. So obvious the question how I will be able to overcome lust, because it's one of the most difficult things to do, because it's the most accessible. But it was easier than I would eventually thought, especially towards another people. Because just like when you give your life to Christ, you don't have to do anything alone. Like, you shouldn't and you can't do anything alone. any trouble, everything that you have, you give it to God, and once you come honestly with an open heart, it will be resolved. And that was also in my case. When I became Christian, I was still in the relationship, so we just went with the flow.
Right.
Not a big deal, but then it changes, and as you come closer to God, you are more and more convinced of all of your sins that you have done. So it creates heavier and heavier burden on you, and literally starts to build a resistance towards it, because you understand it more in a more complex way. You understand it fully what it does, and you don't feel that need to do that anymore. So just when they tell you, come to Christ and he will cleanse you, I never understood it, because it sounds so simple. I come to Christ, I pray once, and I'm like, okay, I'm still last one, not cleansed. So where is the miracle? But the cleansing comes from knowing Christ and understanding, knowing his commandments, how he works, feeling his grace and his love. And once you have, even in your family, your relative loves you dearly and you spend with them all your life, obviously you're not going to be doing something that hurts them. And you start to feel this kind of convictions toward Jesus.
Okay.
So the longer you walk with Christ, the easier everything becomes. How is it for the society? I don't know, but
Every person is a person, so we
Yeah.
all have different situations. Yeah.
but we are all coded in the same way. We are all created in the image of God, so we all have the same base.
Mhm.
Once you start to walk with Christ, you will eventually get rid of any troubles that you have in your life. If it is lust, you are gambling, or you have addictions, or any of these issues that keeps you spiritually chained, will be removed and lifted, and it won't be part of you anymore. Just like when you were a child, you didn't have these thoughts and you didn't have these needs. It developed over time in your life as the sin was imposed on you. So now you have a reverse hack when you just go to Jesus. That's literally all you have to do.
So you got to go back.
Yeah, but forward.
Indeed, it's an interesting thing. The fact that we are chained, spiritually speaking, because I feel that a lot of people, and I've noticed that on my family, since I started following Christ. I've noticed this thing where people tell you like, yeah, but you shouldn't be stopping. You shouldn't stop doing things that you like just because of religion, which kind of gives you it feels like I'm being chained because of religion, so I can't do this, I can't do that, I can't have sex before marriage. It feels like it's more of a chaining. Does it exist? It's like a prison instead of being something that liberates you. While on the other hand, I feel that it's quite the opposite. It's not that the religion is keeping you from enjoying yourself. It's that the religion or God or Christ, whatever you want to call it, it's actually saving you in order for you not to commit things that will harm you. So, for example, you have what we were talking, the first topic, sex, lust. Now that we are following Christ, we understand what's the logic behind don't have sex before marriage. You have the situation about, for example, greed. We already know that if you're too greedful, you won't be happy with anything. You're always you're always chasing whatever it is. Usually, it's money that we are greedful. So, in a certain way, yeah, I do understand why people feel that it's a prison to follow Christ and to follow religion. But the more I learn, I feel that it's not a prison at all. Quite the opposite. It's like a father. It's like a father telling his children, like, "Hey, don't do this because there are consequences for this, and I don't want to see you suffering." That's all. That's all. It's not like me not wanting for you to have fun. This is something that I see a lot happening, and I don't know. I feel that the best way to get over that would be reading His Word, for example. If you read His Word, you understand what's the purpose of all of these commandments. What's the purpose of Him telling you, don't do this, don't do that, don't. I don't know, don't eat shrimp.
Amen. Yeah.
Amen, right? Nowadays we understand this.
Yeah, like just in case of shrimp, I think many people already saw it on the social media, but it's basically cockroach in the sea. It's scaffolding all the dirty materials, so you shouldn't be eating it on a regular basis. Obviously, if you eat it, your body will be able to handle it. But if it is the only food that you keep receiving, you are slowly poisoning yourself. It's not that, okay, now I am your God, you obey. I will remove shrimps and sex from your life. No, it's for your own goodness. And it's a dangerous thing because you only know your life since you started. So you only live in this generation. You can watch old movies or study history, how it was back in the day, but to truly understand, even if you listen to your grandparents, their stories, and you'll be listening to them 5 hours, you can't really relate to it because you don't have that experience. And we are the first wicked generation that sees sin as a normal thing. And I can see it on the dating side nowadays. People just take it, so sex, it's a normal thing, just like you go to wash your teeth. But once you are Christian, you know it's not. You have that conviction exactly for all these reasons. So yeah, it's a dangerous game, and it's really hard to understand it once you are being raised in this environment where they tell you this is normal, this is because that is the foundation of information that you have in your brain. You are encoded to live this way. So suddenly when somebody tells you come to Christ, don't do these things, they're looking like, oh no, I'm gonna be living my life. But the discipline is usually the path to happiness, not the pleasure. If you look at the biggest professionals in any field, if it is, I don't know, sport players or not really sport players, what are they? If it is athletes, or successful business people, whoever achieved something in the life had to do it through discipline. And it's not only regarding sex, it requires dedication to keep your body healthy, in a good physique. You have to be dedicated to work. You can't be lazy. So you are basically obeying God's law already to get where you need. And then once you achieve something in your life and you have success in any area that you chose, then you open the Bible and it tells you exactly what you already did to get there. So the hard path is the correct path.
The best one.
Yeah.
There's this thing on Christianity where they say like, in order to get, I don't want to say it's exactly this, but it's something like this, that in order to get into heaven, you got to follow the narrow path. What's the narrow path? Basically, the path where you're leaving yourself behind, your own ego behind, and you're just following that rough path to get into Christ. And dude, I think that's probably one of the worst things that you can tell someone of this generation, this society. Just forget about your ego, your wealth, or everything. Leave everything behind. Otherwise, you won't be able to get into this narrow path. I mean, at least I put it on myself. Like, to release my ego, that's something that you, like, a couple of months ago, I would tell you, like, you're crazy. My ego is everything right now. You know, I'm nothing without my ego. My ego brought me to the place where I am. And obviously, back then I didn't know any better, and I've come to understand that it's not my ego. It wasn't my ego who allowed me to get to the point where I'm at today. Quite the opposite. I guess that my ego took me down almost into hell. It was God's grace that brought me up until the place that I'm at now, and thank God I'm living the best life that I've ever lived. And I've come to realize that it was always Him. It was always Him putting me on the path that I should be. And it's weird because nowadays you don't really have this kind of mindset. Everyone will tell you you can't have your ego too high. But let's be honest, nowadays more people work and live with their egos up in the sky. So it's hard to find someone who has his ego control, or it doesn't exist. I guess that the best way for someone to get there is basically giving his life to Christ and following Him the best that you can, because that's also a difficult take. you always hear this thing that you have to follow Christ and be more Christ-like, but you will never be like Christ, because that's God. And who are you to call yourself God, right? You can't do it. The best thing that you can do is try to imitate him a little bit, you know? But it's hard. It's hard.
Yeah.
It's really hard.
Ego, it's a tough one. I mean, it's a first crime that has been committed even in heaven, where you don't have lust or gluttony, because you don't need these things. Lucifer, who got prideful.
Sure.
And ego, it's a good, it seems like a good booster and a good fire to keep you going until things go sideways.
Yeah.
The moment when they go sideways, then suddenly it was all me. All my success was me, and everything that I done, it was me. But then no, this is not me. So like we have to choose here. So is it you or is it not you? And yeah, like if you struggle with ego, God will burn it out of you. And some people are nice by nature. They were raised in the good family with the good values, and you can see that they really have kind heart, and I wouldn't say even ego in check. Like the pride, it's not present sometimes when you meet with.
It's not so
people.
present as other people, or as it should be in this society.
And when you have the struggles with it, I'm also a prideful person. I also have ego, and you can't do it on your own. So God will humble you, and that's probably what we need. We don't grow in comfort. We grow in pain. So if your ego keeps you controlled, God will give you opportunity to see and to understand better. Because that's all we are. Yeah, we are just people.
Yeah.
And this is like a training ground. We can make this a living hell, or we can make this a living heaven. And just like you said before, it's a narrow path. You don't have to be perfect. Just like the example of the thief on the cross next to Jesus. He wasn't baptized. He didn't go to church. No sermons. No good. Nothing. He didn't even repent. He just said, "Jesus, remember me." That's all it took for him.
Basically put his ego down and said, like, "Please, Jesus, remember me. Have mercy on me."
In the last moment.
Yeah. While on the other side, you had the other guy who was just bashing Jesus and mocking him and telling him, like, "Hey, if you're really God, just get out of that cross. You're not God." So while on one side you had one of the guys with his ego up high mocking Jesus, the other one was humble. This is the key word. He was humble enough to ask Jesus, "Hey, I'm here. I did a lot of I committed a lot of crimes in my life. I deserve to be here." Actually, I think he even said that to the other one. We deserve to be here. He doesn't. He said, "I deserve to be here." So he just buried his ego down into hell, and he asked Jesus, like, "Please remember me. Remember me when you get to heaven." That's the most beautiful thing that a human being can do.
Two people in the same situation, like literally two souls has been put in the same conditions. One of them decided to continue with his pride, and the other one humbled himself. And you can do in this world a reflection of one or the other. If you don't obey the commandments, you're gonna make it a living hell. And still, it's important to say that God doesn't want you to be doing bad. He actually wants you to profit. He has plans for you to. I'm not sure what the verse is now exactly, but I have plans for you, good plans that are beneficial for you and profitable. Even throughout the whole Bible, it's basically He created you. He created all your life around you and gave you a tutorial, a manual, in the form of book, like what you should be doing, how you play the game to play it well. And if you obey His commandments, you're gonna be doing well. So it's not about that you cannot be doing well and having your house. But once you accumulated, for instance, all the money in the world that there is, and everybody around you suffers, and you just keep them backed up in your house, that already feels and sounds wrong. So your heart tells you what you should be doing and what you shouldn't. But once you put all these things aside, we all as people, if we unite and we all go to Christ, we can literally make this world a heaven. And we don't have to go wait to go there. Yeah. We already have the ability to do that. So the more of us do that, the better.
Exactly. I remember that, I think it's Rastafarians. Yeah, it's Rastafarians. When they want to talk about cannabis, they usually call it the healing of the nation. And I remember that when I was in high school, some of the people that used to smoke, they would say something like, "Oh, if everyone would smoke a joint at the same time in the same day, that would be the first day that the whole world would find peace." So it kind of makes you understand why the Rastafarians call it like the healing of the nation, something that numbs you, it's something that makes you feel all peace and love. But to be fair, and I think that this name, Healing of the Nation, is actually in the Bible. I'm not 100% sure if it's in the New Testament or in the Old Testament. I think it's in the New Testament. I'm pretty sure that it's a reference to Jesus Christ and to his teachings. Because let's be honest, Jesus Christ, I don't want to be blasphemy. I don't want to be giving any kind of wrong information, but I'm pretty sure Jesus Christ never told you, like, if this person does this, kill him, or I don't know, do him some kind of harm. Quite the opposite. He always said, pray for your enemies, and yeah, don't do any harm. But people just, as always, they decide to pervert things, and they picked his word to do all the horrible stuff that happened. But what I want to say is that indeed, I believe that Christianity, and if we don't want to call it Christianity because it gives it too much of a religious touch, let's say that Christ, Jesus Christ, is the person that everyone should look up to, because we are talking about the perfect human being, the one that wasn't a sinner at all, the one who always spoke about love and nothing else. Love, respect, and follow the commandments. That is it. So nowadays, I've come to realize that, yeah, the real healing of the nation is Jesus Christ. If everyone in the world, if all of I guess we're already 8 billion people in the world, would follow the words of Jesus Christ, if everyone would hear the Sermon in the Mount, which I guess it's probably the best speech ever that a human being ever did. If everyone would hear these words and live life through these words, what a beautiful place this would be. You wouldn't have any kind of evil going on, because no one would be capable of doing any kind of evil. It's something that I've been thinking about lately, and it just makes sense. This is more or less one of the big reasons for why I decided to read the Bible and to call myself a Christian. This is it.
It's a good example to follow, because you have to look up to somebody. We are built in this way to worship someone.
Sure.
So you can choose to worship an imperfect person just to build an idea in your head about them, and then to realize that they are not as good as they claim to be, because we are all sinners. We all do something wrong. And then when you listen to women community nowadays, the men that they like to have and marry, you are describing a person who is kind, compassionate, there for you, not lazy, hardworking, sacrificing himself for the well-being of his family and the people around him. You are describing Jesus. So, and that's what he called us to do. Be more like me. You're going to be under construction on all your life. You are not going to be perfect. Otherwise, I wouldn't have to be sent here and die for you on the cross. I had to come here because none of you could play the game right until the end. Yeah. That's why I'm here. So to follow him as an example and put your life down, or how to call it, how are we going to say it? Lay your life for Jesus. I defy anyone to try to contradict me. What is wrong with the message? Love one another, be kind to each other, and forgive your enemies. Like that
Indeed,
goes
forgive
against everything that is human-like. And yeah,
I remember there was a video that I saw a couple of months ago, I guess. It was basically a guy giving a speech, and he was saying, like, so you've spent all of your life relying on yourself, right? You spent all of your life doing things your own way, And sure, you might not be like completely bad, but how about if you give him a chance? How about if you give him a chance to work on you as he wants to work on you? Just imagine the kind of life that you would have. A life where it's basically filled with love, forgiveness. And forgiveness is an interesting take. We were talking about forgiveness on the other episode. And it's interesting that we tend to think that to forgive someone is just to say like, oh, Philip, you hurt me, but I forgive you. And that's it. Like, I forgave you over here. I don't want to talk. I don't want to think about the problem anymore. But the real question is, did I forgive you in my heart? Am I okay with still coming to your place over here and looking at your face and be like, I don't even remember what happened, you know? This is the real forgiveness that he talks about.
Forgive, forget, right?
Forgive and forget, exactly. Don't have it on your heart. And I think that people forget that you also remember on your heart. Your heart is still capable of feeling emotions and feelings that are very, very hard. I'm pretty sure everyone has had this situation where they were mad with someone else, and just for the sake of it, they decided like, okay, I don't even want to think about it. Yeah, I forgive you. But deep down, they never forgave. And they live with this kind of grudge. They live with a grudge in their heart. And dude, this is what he's talking about. This is what he's trying to get you to understand. You don't just try to forget on your mind. You also have to forget on to forgive. Sorry. You don't only forgive in your mind, you also have to forgive in your heart. Which, let's be honest, it's one of the most difficult things that a human being can do. It's almost impossible.
It's a tough one. And I think you can only truly forgive once you start to get closer to Jesus or to God and start to see things from his perspective. Because I struggled with forgiveness for a long time. I've also been making a video about this one, because I literally had to find a way to rewire my brain and to find a logical inputs, how I corner my mind to forgive. Because exactly, we all hurt someone, and we all have someone who hurt us in the life. So I already want to give this away. I said the words, God, I'm ready to forgive. I forgive them. But every time when I thought about the person or about the situation that happened to me, I still had a grouch in my heart and anger. Yeah. And yet I still kept thinking about it. So that means I didn't really let it go. So knowing that I'm a Christian now, it's my duty to forgive. And I knew that this is something that can be an obstacle on my way to heaven. And not only in heaven, it leads to worse life, because now you're carrying this baggage with you that is wearing you down. So let's imagine that, I don't know, somebody killed one of your relatives from your family. That's a tough one. Horrible. And I saw a video on internet, it was real, and I believe one of his siblings was killed by some woman. I don't know if it was a car accident or she shot him. And on court, he basically said that I want to do the right thing and I forgive you. Then he asked judge to come and hug her. And you could really see the peace in that person. So
in the middle of the court, he forgave this person and he even hugged this person.
Yeah. Wow. And you could see the honesty out of it. But as a person who is far from God and you don't know his word, you don't know his world. And we are always coming from the presumption that our life is finite. So if somebody is going to take a life of my relative or whatever is going to happen to you, you take it as an ultimate and it cannot be changed. But God talks to you from a different perspective, and you have to go through the Bible and study it to truly get understanding that there are different mechanisms in the place, and the world that we perceive with our sensory inputs, which are very limited, it's not all there is, that there is really scientifically another world beyond your senses, beyond your seeing and your comprehension. And he tells you, I am in this world and I have everybody here. Everything that is lost in your worldly flesh world comes to mind and I can restore it. So when he really tells you, you have to forgive. You have to forgive, because it's like you would have a bad dream. Let's say you dream that somebody hurt you, or maybe even your spouse, she did something to you, and now you wake up and you would be mad at her. No, you wake up and you're like, okay,
You understand that it was on the other world. It's not.
It was just a dream. But in that moment when you're dreaming, that was your reality. That was what was happening. Your heart gets racing. You wake up like it was a real thing, and then you're like, okay, but this is who I am. I live here now. And God tells you, yeah, there is another level to that. It doesn't end here. That's why when I tell you you have to forgive because it really doesn't end here. You're gonna continue. So yeah.
And I don't think that it's only Christianity that talks about. I'm pretty sure that even in the Egyptian mythology they talk something about
afterlife.
The afterlife, yeah.
If when I looked at the statistics, like the whole world of our population, it's divided to group of people who believe that there is afterlife and they argue about what is it, and the people who don't believe that there is afterlife, atheists. And we have a world, pretty much 16% of the world population are atheists, and 84% are religions. The three biggest religions are Christianity, Islam, and Judaism. Then all of them follows, but all of them say the same thing. There is a lot of afterlife. So maybe we should look at this ratio and be like, okay, vast majority, 84% of people are telling us there is something, and it's also the ancient civilization, which is dating thousands of years back. Everybody is obsessed about afterlife. And we all have our experiences. We have testimonies of people who have been on the verge of death, and everybody tells the same thing. So
yeah, near. I think it's called a near-death experience. There's a lot of videos on it about it on YouTube. Like a lot of testimonies, people who had a car accidents and were dead for a couple of minutes, and they went to this, and it's beautiful. Almost everyone tells the same thing. I didn't want to come back. It was such a perfect place. It was such a nice feeling. I didn't want to come back.
Even people who are doing well in the life.
Yeah.
Like even people who were famous, were behind the rough waters in terms of finances, everything, say, I didn't want to go back. So what it has to be, it's incomprehensible,
incomprehensible, yeah.
For our minds, what it has to be that you really don't want to go back.
It's really, really incomprehensible for us to even think that we can understand how does it feel. But let's be honest. I mean, it must be great because we still experience nice moments in this earth, in this life. There are still moments of pure joy where sometimes you even want to cry because of it, right? Now just imagine when you're next to God, when you're next to your Creator, when you see Jesus, the perfect human being, the most perfect, or even the only perfect human being that ever existed. Just imagine how beautiful it is to actually be by His side. Like there's nothing that compares, I think.
You know, man, just watching Chosen, for the viewers, strongly recommend.
Oh yeah, strongly recommend The Chosen.
It's just an actor who is portraying Jesus' presence, and that's already making you cry like every episode, and literally makes me jealous of the first apostles of Jesus, of His first disciples, that they had the privilege and the honor to be in His presence. Obviously, I wouldn't have the balls to be there because like there is a price to pay for it. I was born in a different century, hopefully for different reasons, but what a privilege to be next to Him and live. And the fact that we have so many scriptures about Him written, and he never wrote a thing about Himself.
He never wrote anything about Himself?
No, it was other people. All the testimonies are coming from other people. So what kind of a person you have to be that everybody is following you, looking up to you? We are dating the calendar based on you. We are living 2025 since when? Since Jesus' birth.
Yeah.
We celebrate Christmas, yeah? So it's things that are normal for you, but you have to realize it's only one person in history who achieved this.
And He wasn't even an emperor. He's a king. But He wasn't even an earthly king. He wasn't a rich person. No, He was a carpenter from Nazareth who was basically an amazing guy.
And all of these kings and emperors wanted to achieve this. That's why they have their statues built, the poems written about them, and hiring people who could write stories and their testimonies about them. And yet none of these wealthy, powerful people who owned world in the day could achieve what achieved Jesus, that He lives today through people.
That's an interesting thing, because then you have all of these previous guys. Let's pick, like, for example, Julius Caesar, who wasn't even that far. You have Julius Caesar, you have Alexander the Great, who people are aware that existed just because of the records that there are, but people are still kind of some people are still kind of, they don't really believe if Jesus existed or not. It's weird. It's weird. Why do you think there is this resistance? Do you think that it's they prefer to know about warriors rather than a guy who preached about love and peace, or they just don't wanna
Interesting
accept?
topic. Because like we don't have their photos, we don't have their videos, medical records, nothing.
None of them. Not even Jesus. Not well. Jesus, we have the shroud. So
Yeah. Okay. And maybe we have this also from some artifacts from Julius Caesar. I don't know. But what we have and what we built, our history that we teach our children and future generations, it's only written records.
Right.
And that's what we base it on. So if we are about to say that Jesus is not real, we have to eliminate everyone, because Jesus is the most documented and most studied person in the history. By far, he had more people writing about him. Like in his time, Roman emperor was Tiberius. Tiberius had 4 people writing about him. Jesus had almost 40 or over 40 people writing about him, and yet didn't pretty much apply for it, didn't pay these people.
Yeah.
It just happened. Why that resistance? So I don't know, but I think it has something to do with the fact that we don't like to hear the truth about ourselves, and we don't like to hear the truth that we are imperfect and we are doing something wrong. Because once you accept Jesus, this goes along the way. And just like we said before, you can have all your issues in the life resolved. You just have to accept Jesus. Nobody asks you to give money or sign the blood contract for your soul. Nothing. You literally just go to your room, speak to him for a minute, say what you have in your heart. Hey, I don't know if you are real. I honestly don't believe, but I'm in trouble. I have nowhere else to go, and I need help. So Jesus, if you are there, come and help. And I know who I speak of. So let's watch the miracles in your life unfold. And for some reason, once you go and tell this to people that it doesn't cost you anything, usually they are like, no, I'm good. So you've tried all these things.
You remember when you asked me if I wanted you to pray for me?
Yeah.
And I was like,
no. And the resistance tells something. Like
Yeah.
if you are so sure that he's not there, why are you scared to be prayed about? Why are you scared to speak to him?
Sure.
Your heart tells you that it is real. And because you are not going to get so defensive and so disappointed about anything else. They give you drugs? Yeah, why not? YOLO. You go to party, you go drinking, but when it comes to Jesus, nah, I'm good.
Yeah. Everyone has some kind of opinion already made about it. It's an interesting resistance. I definitely feel that it's true what you say. Like people don't want to be told that they are imperfect. People don't want to acknowledge the fact that they are sinners and that they have to change their way of lives. Because as we were saying, like ego is something really, really big nowadays. Even if you don't want to acknowledge it within yourself, it's there. Your ego is there, your pride is there, and with Jesus, it has to go down. You have to put all of those defenses down and just accept the fact that you're completely imperfect and that you can't do things without him. If you try to do things by your own way, you may end up having, I don't know, a family, house, work, and all of these things. But at the end of the day, I'm pretty sure that people could be happier if they had the knowledge that they have Jesus or God behind their back, because that's a scary thought for me right now. After I've come to Christ, I've already started to see what's life. I've only been with Christ for 4 months, but I can tell you it's definitely enough for me to get my miracles, get my requests. Everything is happening, and there is no way for me to now out of nowhere say, oh yeah, no, he doesn't exist now. That time that I went to Denmark and I prayed like, please God, give me sunny days while I'm in Denmark, in full spring, he definitely did that. he said, okay, I will give you these sunny days. I will let you enjoy Denmark because you asked. It's the most amazing part is that you just have to ask. And if it's his will, he will do it. Now, obviously, people will get crazy and pissed if they ask and they see that it's not happening right at that moment. But it's true. If you ask, he will give you a notification, or he will at least give you some kind of reply. Now, the thing is that I can't imagine right now living life without Christ. I can't imagine a life where I don't wake up, or where I wake up and I don't pray, or where I go to bed and I don't pray, or where I go to work and I don't pray. I must do everything for him, because he is the one who is giving me strength. Now, before, if you ask me, how were you living before? I was just trying to trust myself. But I can guarantee you, I wasn't this confident. I was always having, like, let's say 99% of assurance that things were going to be okay, because I would say that I'm a positive person, and to be a positive person means to always think on the positive outcome. But bad things happen. I was going to say the curse word. Bad things happen, and there is always 1% of chance that something bad will happen. And right now, there is absolutely no comparison to the way that I live my life. How peaceful it is to just understand that even if something bad happens, everything will be all right at the end. Because even if I die for an accident, I know that I don't have to fear death. I don't have to fear what's coming after, because, as we were speaking before, people have been dead for minutes and they all say it was beautiful. It was amazing. And you have a lot of records. You even have in the Bible telling you what's going to happen when you die. I mean, you have a completely new, different, perfect body. Yeah, let's go. Let's go. How can I do it? I'm definitely not going to kill myself. I'm definitely not going to harm myself. But the confidence that it gives you to know that you have Jesus Christ behind you, it's
powerful.
It's powerful.
I think that's why Christians always were and still are persecuted and mocked as they are, because that's where the real power comes from.
Yeah.
Like, if you truly become a man who doesn't have to be afraid of death, and you don't have to be, because you know that you don't die, because it is the truth.
Yeah.
We have evidence, we have archaeological findings. There is no single contradiction or mistake in the Bible. Jesus came, I am the way, the life, and the truth, and point you at the Bible, read this, you're going to be all right. And it tells you don't have to be afraid. So you become very powerful being once you stop fearing death. You can enjoy the life fully, and you know that we don't end at the end. We continue. And I think you can even look at your life. And now, before it was a chaos, you try to live righteously, or not even righteously, but by your own meanings, how I think it is all right, backed up by the ego. And you fake it till you make it, but you are truly never confident. And
I could tell you that was like the motto of my life: just fake it till you make it. And let's be honest, by the end of the day, I knew I was faking it. So
now you don't have to. Now everything makes purpose. I think that when he tells you, I created you, before I laid the foundation of the earth, I already knew you. So that means that already before everything, his intelligence capacity is beyond our comprehension. So we just have to admit that. And if everything was carefully planned out, it's not only every aspect of your body, your hair, your eye, retina, and everything around you, but also your life. So just to imagine it in some visualization, let's say that God creates you, puff, there you are. And now you have this racetrack in front of you that looks like a garden with 2 walls next to it. And he made you in some way. He put some dreams in your heart, some things that you want to achieve, and some things that you like. So in accordance how he made you, he will also purposely create the life that will fulfill you. It's like not only one being, but the life, and it perfectly fits and matches. And you are standing there like, okay, thank you for making me this life that I'm gonna be walking 60 years through, but no, I choose to jump over the wall where there are trees and roots and wild animals and bears, and you walk for about 10 years, and then you finally decide to climb back to the wall, to that garden that is made for you, hurt, injured, scratch, and like, Yeah, not a good idea.
Not a good
And
idea,
it's like,
no.
so you're ready to walk the life that I prepared for you now.
Please.
And looking at it backwards, everything makes sense. You can understand your past. You can understand that it led you to exactly where you're supposed to be. And maybe you are getting also better understanding where are you supposed to go.
Oh,
Which is
100%. 100%. Once you start to just lay down your life for him and you actually start to read the gospel, which for me was always something, why? Why? I always thought, like, why would I waste my time reading such a big book? It's like 1,000 something pages. I never understood the idea behind it up until the moment that I've come to realize, like, you have a lot of people asking or saying, like, oh, life is so hard. You don't have a manual of instructions. You don't have a book, a guide for life. And I always thought, like, it's weird that we've been here for so many thousand years and no one has ever thought about creating some kind of book. Oh, wait, there is one. There is the Bible, which is the Word of God. And what would God want to tell us more than here's like the foundations of how life should be lived? Not even how life should be lived, but here's some like hints. Here's like this bread that I haven't seen it yet, but here's this bread that if you eat it, you actually have everything that you need, every protein, minerals, and everything.
Oh yeah, Ezekiel's. I think it's Ezekiel's recipe for bread.
I haven't read Ezekiel yet. No, I'm in Ezra.
I'm not sure. Maybe I'm saying it wrong. Not exactly where. And I also
Yeah, but you know what's the bread that I'm talking about?
Yeah. There is a recipe in the Bible that you have to combine different kind of seeds and make a bread out of it. And it's been written for 3,000 years. And just now with the technology that we have, they realize that if they reconstruct retrospectively the bread that they make out of this recipe, it contains all the amino acids that you need in order to create proteins. So you can only live and survive out of this bread alone. You don't need anything else. You don't need fruits. You don't need meat. So he literally gives you like a handbrake.
You can't say that this was made by some random human 3,000 years ago, because come on, let's be honest. What was he doing? Was he just putting different seeds all together and that's it?
This blows my mind. Even the thing about the snake. Like the first story, a snake comes to the garden and poisons humanity. And then we have Lamb of God, which is Jesus, that comes as an ultimate salvation and healing. And today, what we are using to create one of the ways how to make antidote for the poison of snakes, it's lamb's blood. So we have it written as a metaphor in the Bible that has been there sitting for 3,000 years, or I'm not sure how long.
Yeah.
And in our real life, as we speak, somebody is getting bitten by the venomous or poisonous snake, and they use antidote, which is made of lamb's blood. Yeah. So you don't have it only metaphorically, it really functions in terms of chemistry and pharmacy in our real life. It's just like donkeys. The donkeys and the cross that they have on the back. You can Google it out. When you look at the pictures of the donkeys from the top, they have a cross on the back. And Jesus was insisting that when he goes to Jerusalem, he needs to ride the donkey. Right. Nobody knew what's going to happen. Nobody knew he's getting crucified. Only he knew. And the creator literally makes like the ultimate flex. Okay, you're going to be riding on the animal that already carries the cross on the back. You can't make this up. And like this was written before it happened. So not only he's making you and your reality, he's flexing with these little bits. Like I'm going to tell you what is going to happen so you can see the truth.
Yeah. He could definitely like put Jesus coming into Jerusalem on a horse and then get crucified, and that's it. But no, he, just like you're saying, he flexed. He said, like, you're gonna go in with a donkey. Look at the donkey and you will more or less get a hint about what's going to happen next. So yeah, definitely not a coincidence. I guess that, as we already said, coincidence is something that is completely out of my dictionary. It has to be out of a Christian's dictionary, because there is no coincidence in this world. Everything is God's will. And this is the most beautiful part of it, is that you don't have to break your head thinking like, why did this happen? But I don't know, I need answers. No, the answer is that he wanted. It's his will. That's it.
Yeah.
So it's it's an amazing life. As I said, like it's been only 4 months, and I know that you have a lot of seasoned Christians, veteran Christians, who will probably hear this and be like, "Oh, poor you, you don't even know."
Brainwashed.
Brainwashed. He has been brainwashed, but sure, so be it. But yeah, I do know that the Christian life comes with its difficulties. You have to sacrifice a lot of things. You have to crucify your flesh, and yeah, that's something that I'm okay with. I'm willing to do it if it means to, when this all ends, I'm able to meet my Creator, my Savior, and just live the life how He wants me to do it. So the ego is finished. Right now, I'm living my life with God's will, and it's been amazing. How about you? How long have you been with the Christianity again?
It's over a year and a half, 2 years. I don't remember exactly when, because I have difficulty to remember my life by dates. I just know the moment when it happened, but I don't know exactly when it was. But almost 2 years, I would say, yeah. And it goes up and down, and I think it's pretty much for all the Christians the same or similar in a sense. You get to know God, you get to know Jesus, then you realize it's all true, then you can feel it, you can feel His love, His grace. You realize that you truly don't die. You can start to feel your soul, that you continue. And
When you mean regarding what?
Well, I don't know what you mean.
So you start noticing that you don't really die. Like, you mean in terms of physical death, you don't really die, and that's it?
Everything. I'm not sure how it is for others, but for me it was through logic, because I was always fact and evidence-based. So I was scientific person. I studied physics and mathematics up to the point of astrophysics and quantum physics. So I had deeper understanding how the world we live in operates. And yeah, I was an atheist because, it's just a fairy tale up until the point where I realized that, the science only tells us as much, but we don't have the answers to the most basic questions, just like gravity. We know that it's here. Like, if we sit here, it's normal for you because you live in it all your life. But every single object, me, this chair, it's not floating around because it's being pulled down, invisible force, extremely powerful invisible force down. Yeah. We know how to calculate it so we can work with it and send the satellites to orbit, but we don't know what it is. We can't explain that. The same, we have black holes and stuff like that. And Bible offers a lots of unanswered question which you can't get through science. And for me, everything just clicked one day, and I had to follow back the evidence. And basically, I realized, okay, in the physical world there is the evidence that there is something bigger, and it's not only what we can sense. And I started to understand that it's probably it, and God tells us I am on the other side. So for me, this was the thing that made the click, and then starts the honeymoon with Jesus. You are just full of endorphins.
That's a thing.
For me, I think it was Emmanuel Mari, Bishop, who said it. I took it from him. I think it's the best description. You just start to go on daily basis, and you experience the kind of love which you didn't even experience when you fall in love with someone. You just keep thinking about it. You're happy, full of endorphins, like on the drugs, and you really didn't take any substance. And this lasts, I don't know, 1 to 2 months. Then it slowly wear off, and Jesus is like, okay, we had the honeymoon. It's time to get to work. And then it starts. It slowly progresses. It starts wearing off, and the responsibilities comes. You start to get convictions, what you've done wrong. You start to reconstruct your past and the person as you are. You start to ask more important questions, put your ego aside, seeing yourself from a different perspective, and transform as a human being. That continues until you pray for something that you didn't really think through, just like, hey God, I want to be one of your strongest warriors. And then He's going to send you to spiritual war. And then you just, everything in your life that you thought you want and you build it, just going to get removed like That's not the path that I created for you. People, jobs, house, businesses, whatever it's there obstructing your full potential and your purpose, gonna get away, which is enormous amount of pain and suffering, which you don't understand at the time, but it's necessary for your development.
Yeah.
So that was for me, and I think it's for many seasoned Christians. Once you are there for 2 to 3 years, and you really truly believe, you know at this point, because, and I don't mean the know to exaggerate the belief, I really mean that we can use the word know as a strong foundation for what we knew before, because I come from the generation that we were taught things at school which no longer apply. But yet the society and the structure of the society created a system where you have to go there, you have to learn this, and then on the examination, you have to say these things back. If you don't, they give you back grades, you don't pass to the next year, and that basically affects your future and your life. So we've been taught things which no longer apply. Therefore, I wanted to say that knowing probably has bigger weight there than the things that you thought you knew all your life. So yeah, at this point, I know there is God, and not only believe. I had
You've already experienced it. Yeah.
yeah.
It's true that one thing that a lot of seasoned Christians say is that he will start taking things from your life that he doesn't want you to have them, or he doesn't feel, or he says that this is not what it's for you in your future. And I guess that this is probably the most terrifying thing that people will think about, because let's be honest, you're okay. You're okay right now. You've met Jesus, you've met God, you've started following His word, and your life is more or less the same. So this is the honeymoon effect. But the real thing comes when you just start seeing the changes. Everything starts changing. You lose this person, you lose this job, you lose this. You start getting, let's say, attacked by a million things. And now this is the real test of faith. This is the real moment where He wants to see, like, so are you still coming back, or are you just gonna do the things your own way? This is a pivotal moment where I feel that He really wants to know, like, who are you?
Mm-hmm.
Who are you? It's interesting. It's an interesting take, that.
Yeah, it's for me it was maybe slightly easier because I found God several times, but I didn't fully understand on the first attempts. So it took me maybe on the fourth time. It was my whole life. I was raised in the Christian family, and when there is a moment when there was no other way out, I remember that I can pray for it. So I prayed, and then the miracle happened, and okay, I'm good. And then you just forget and move on.
Yeah.
So it took me a couple of tries to fully understand, and 2 years ago, it was already an undeniable experience for me. But I always found God in the lowest points of my life. So it's harder, it's easier for me not to stray away from Him. When things go to bad things, I know He is there, which can be a little bit more challenging for the people who found Him on the top of their life. When the things are going well, it's kind of Job story, yeah. When the devil tells God, okay, but he only worships you and is there, a good guy, because you gave him all these things. Strip it away and see how he does.
And check how it is.
So I don't know how it can be for these people. I think it can be challenging, because that's a real test of faith.
Indeed. I feel that I've found Him on probably my best moment, and yeah, it's always going to be interesting to see if, I'm not challenging you, by the way, but it's always going to be interesting to see if what is going to be my response when things start to go down. I believe, and I wanna keep my faith on this, that I will follow Him no matter what, because I've become a Christian having in mind the lowest points of my life that I've been and where I'm at right now. I know and I am aware that it was all His will. Everything had a purpose. I didn't get to the cabin crew to the cabin crew career because I understood that He didn't want me flying. He wanted me over here right now, sharing His word, and I'm more than happy about it. So yeah, even though I've become a Christian when I was probably living my best life, I will still follow him when things go sideways. I know that he will be my only comfort. He will be my only hope. He will be the person or the image that I will have in my mind when I see that things are going completely wrecked. Because otherwise, why am I even reading this? You know, if things start to go sideways, and I decide to go back to my ego, like I already know what my ego does. I know how my ego got me during those 6 months where I was completely lost, and I know how I didn't even think about praying to him. You know, during those months that I don't want to say that I was depressed, but where I was in my lowest, I never imagined about praying because I always felt like why am I going to pray now? Who am I to now that I'm down, and I'm not judging you, but who am I now that I'm on my lowest? Who am I to pray and ask anything to him? He's gonna tell me like, who are you? Literally, who are you?
That's actually the opposite. Like, he used these humbling experiences to make you hit the rock bottom and understand that if you have no other way out of this, I am still here, and he wants you to come. One of the good analogies was about the shower. You don't shower before the shower. You go there once you are dirty, and that's exactly what God wants from you. So no matter what you've done, the price already has been paid on cross in full. In his eyes, you are righteous, you are clean. Every past, present, future sin has been forgotten. So just come to him. Whatever you do, give him a fair shot. You go to work out, give it a small prayer, few words. You don't have to go to church and sing psalms. No, just, and not even make the sign. Just tell him, Lord, better workout. God bless this food. Do this for a month and tell me if your life didn't change.
Yeah,
'Cause it will.
just give him a chance. That's the key word. Just give him a chance.
Yeah, so whatever you go through, give God a shot.
Yeah.
And let's see what happens.
Indeed.
I thank you for today, brother. Thank you for your presence.
I thank you for having me again in your lovely living room and having this amazing chat. It was nice.
And thank you.
Same.